Institute of Georgian History at the Faculty of Humanities at Ivan Cavashvili Tbilisi State University organized an international conference.
August 12, 2021 serves as the 1900th anniversary of the decisive event in history of Georgia, known as the Battle of Didgori. The battle became a guarantee for strong Georgian political unity, a pattern of Georgian and Western European military cooperation, as well as a splendid example of the Georgian military tradition. The international conference was dedicated to this important event. Ted Lundberg, professor at Institute of Georgian History, opened the conference and served as the chair of the first session, which was about Georgia and the rest of the world during David Agmashenabeli's reign and after. He also welcomed all participants of the conference and gave an introductory talk about Georgian and European armies in action. He outlined all major moments when Georgians used favorable situations and prepared an assault against the Turks. David Tavaze, assistant professor at the Institute of Georgian History, talked about some details on the biography of David Agmashenabeli, specifically about Queen Elena, mother of David Agmashenabeli, and assumed that she was daughter of the king of Kakheti Hereti Kingdom. The assumption was based on some recent discoveries. Emil Agaliani, PhD in History and a laboratory assistant at the Institute of Georgian History, generalized the situation on the Silk Road and emphasized activity of Georgians in this network. Conclusion of his talk, Georgia and the trade routes in the early 20th century, was that the stronger Georgia was, the more actively it was involved in this trans-Eurasian trade network. Nadia Pipia, assistant professor at Institute of Georgian History, and Ketavan Simindia, PhD candidate at the Institute of Ethnology, focused their report on commensality in the age of David Agmashenabeli and Queen Tamar. They summarized all reasons feasts might be held during this age and also gave a detailed explanation of the form of commensality during the reign of these two Georgian monarchs. Zinaida Oborneva, representing Vinogradov Russian Language Institute at the Russian Academy of Sciences, talked about participation of Greek clerics in the relations of the Tsardom of Russia and Georgian states in 1619–1645. She paid attention to some new documents about Russian-Georgian relationships kept at Russian State Archive of Ancient Acts. Mircea Bresyan-Venga and Julian Moga, both representing Alexandra Ioannou University of Iași, presented a paper about anthems of Iberia. Memory and representation within the contemporary Romanian society was the topic. They summarized all cases. The memory of anthems of Iberia is used in modern Romania. Mircea Baduraru from Alexandru Ioannou University of Iași talked about constructing truth, producing authenticity, a reflection on the politics of the Romanian ethnological imagination. His presentation was focused on the methodology of establishing truth during ethnological studies. The second session of the conference was about Georgia in the epoch of David Agmashenabeli, and Larry Tavazi served as a session chair. The first report was about one section of Tau border, and Alexander Bosishvili, assistant professor at Institute of Georgian History, gave a talk about it. He paid attention to inscriptions which are useful in establishing new information about the issue. Apollon Tabuashvili, associate professor at the Institute of Georgian History, and Vladimir Kekelia, representing Corneli Kekelidze Georgian National Center of Manuscripts, presented a paper about the 11th–12th centuries donations to the monastery of Iviron and Mount Athos according to Synodica. Based on donations made by the Georgian nobles, they calculated the financial strength of different monasteries. Ketavan Kutateladze, assistant professor at the Institute of Georgian History, talked about Battle of Samshvilde and Manisi between the Georgians and Seljuks in the 11th and 12th century. She summarized all major battles which was held between Georgians and Turks for controlling Samshulbe and Dmanisi. Mamukat Urtomia, who represented State Council of Heraldry at the Parliament of Georgia, gave a talk about reconstructing the past through military history, Samshulbe operation of 1110. He gave a detailed explanation of the Samshulbe operation and paid attention to some details which are disputed in Georgian historiography. Csaba Samushe, professor at the Institute of Georgian History, addressed the problem of localizing Didgori Battle. He overviewed all major ideas about the issue and expressed his opinion about it.
Third session was about Georgia in the epoch of David IV Aghmashanabeli. Apollon Tabashvili served as the chair of the session.
Bondo Kupatadze, associate professor at the Institute of Georgian History, gave a detailed account about Darbazi as a means for construction of feudal state. He paid attention to the terms Darbazi and its origin, also to the development of Darbazi and transformations in it. He outlined all continuities and changes about the issue. Georgi Macarashvili, who represented Georgi Tsereteli Institute of Oriental Studies at Ilia State University, in his talk, Battle for History, summarized his attitude towards current problems Georgian historiography has. He paid attention to Georgian school textbooks, topics addressed by Georgian scholars, Georgian National Museum, and etc. His account provoked fierce debate among participants. Nicolo Cavakhishvili, associate professor at the Institute of Georgian History, in his account from reminiscent history of the greatest Georgian monarch, David IV Aghmashanabeli, on Georgian falleristic and bonistic data, gave a detailed account about all initiatives different Georgian rulers and not only had about establishing David Aghmashanabeli's onwards. Ziad Qabashvili, who represented Ivan Cavakhishvili Institute of History and Ethnology, talked about 19th-21st centuries foreign historiography about the great step of David Aghmashanabeli epoch. She outlined some major events of Kipchak history and its connection with David Aghmashanabeli's decision to settle them in Georgia.
This is a short overview of the conference. Thank you for watching.